Hey, everybody, my Stop Doing Nothing fans, you playmakers, you guys out there who want to be better at what you do. I know you see me talk a lot direct to camera about my beliefs and philosophies, but every now and then I can find a really smart person who I want to have on the show. And this young lady that we're going to talk to today, Cara, I've known for probably in one capacity or another for, I don't know, have we known each other 10 years, at least 5 years? 45 years,
4 to 5.
4 to 5 years. And we
We're
met in person first at Starspace, right?
Yes.
Got it. So Cara Bell, just like me, has her own marketing agency, and she does a little bit things a little bit differently than I do. I have to admit, I'm more of a kind of a behind the scenes technical person. And what Cara's really good at, what you need to know about, is more of how to express your value online and how you basically convince people that you are worth more than just a 5 or a 10 or a $20 bill for a day's worth of work. So she's really good at the high ticket stuff. So everybody meet my friend Cara. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Done a lot of talking. Ready to do some more talking.
But we
Yeah.
both got water in front of us, so we both, as long as the water stays filled, we can talk for a while. So my first question is because whenever I see the phrase high ticket or anything like that, my eyes light up, because over the years I've been in business, I've never wanted to be low ticket. So you have this thing called like the high ticket insurance group or the high ticket insurance show. What does that mean, high ticket insurance? Does it mean that I'm like going to be guaranteed to be charging high prices, or is it more having to do with the marketing behind high ticket?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Actually, high ticket, the insurance word is in quotes, so it's high ticket insurance show.
Yeah.
Because we do not sell insurance. I'm not
Darn
entirely.
it.
It's for people who are making investments into their business, into a coach or a consultant. And I'm not sure if there's any insurance company out there that would actually insure a risky investment like that. It's kind
Right.
of one of those things that you have to learn who to trust and learn who's going to actually get you the result. And that's something an insurance company is probably not willing to put their name on the line to help you learn those mistakes. But yes, the show is about ensuring your own success. So the way that you do become better at making those decisions and even getting results out of any consultant is by making yourself better, making yourself able to make better wealth-based decisions, and even adding value to what you do and how you sell it. That's going to get you better results in the long run.
So would you say the insurance part of it, in quotes, is just kind of how you present yourself to better ensure your success? Is that what the insurance part means? Is like all the things you have to do to basically kind of give you a better chance of knocking it out of the park?
Yes, so exactly that. Like, it's a learning process to get good at business, to get good at marketing, to get good at just staying in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of frustration, and some of it's going to get in your way and stop you. And so ensuring your own success, becoming someone who is able to take that in stride, someone who's, keeps pushing, keeps asking, well, what's next, even though they're frustrated, which I know you're really good at doing, is really like what that insurance is.
Got it. And I was reading up on some of the other things you talk about. And so how does this tie in, or does it really tie in to the concept of an energized client culture? That was something else I've seen you talk about a couple of times online. So when I was doing my background, these two phrases that you talk about really kind of popped out to me. So how does that tie into the energized culture that you talk about?
It does. And it's really two sides of the same coin. I Just to give you a little bit of background on my story, last year I was coaching for a program that enrolls. It's a internet marketing program. They have a lot of clients coming into their program every month, around 200, 300 clients. And I would say that the people who own this business, or even businesses like this, they're all over the internet marketing world. We have a lot of really good salespeople and people who are really good at the marketing side of things, that have built businesses that are a little bit lacking on the client side. Like maybe it's a really great process, but the process isn't exactly what gets people results. So when people get into the program, they're immediately feeling overwhelmed, deer in the headlights, like, holy cow, what did I just get into? The salesman said I would be getting this, and this. The program's not structured like this, and this. And it's kind of like, okay, I just made this really big investment. It was a big deal to me. It might not be a big deal to the salesperson or to the company, but it's a big deal to me. And now I'm like, I have no idea what my first step is. I don't know what exactly, I don't really feel like I belong with all the other people who are in this program. And this fear and this stagnation kind of sinks in. So people, even if they were committed to sticking to the process or doing the work, they feel like they're out of place. So the high ticket insurance show, I want to help those people feel like they have a place whenever they take risks like that. Feel like they are be able to take action on a process, get what they expect because they know what to expect of themselves. And on the energized client culture side, it's the other side of the coin. I'm helping group businesses who take on those clients to help them feel like immediately they belong, that they are getting what they were sold, that they have a clear plan of action in place, and that those emotions of overwhelm, fear, and all that other stuff aren't getting in the way.
So is it kind of like the high ticket insurance, is that kind of more like the pre-sales, and then the energized client culture more as post-sales? Or again, are those it's kind of a gray area in between those two? Because when you sound like energized client culture, it almost sounds like how to basically fulfill the promise, after someone's inside the program.
Exactly. Totally. So as far as how they relate, it's not like a tripwire type offer where the people that I'm attracting on the front end are eventually going to buy something from me on the back end. What it does allow me to do, though, is it allows me to invite people like you, or people who actually do have group programs where they take in a lot of clients, basically have those business conversations. So it's more of a great way to partner with people and to just like have fun conversations. And while like my true goal is to help the people that are coming in, and I can do that in two different ways.
Got it. Okay, cool. Pre-sales and post-sales, because I think a lot of people will do really good at one and not the other one. So that's good to know. Now, as I was coming up with questions for you, I tried to come up with some doozies, and we haven't had a chance to see each other. I haven't had a chance to see the Bells very much since we've been on lockdown, unfortunately, because I really liked the sushi that we had. I'm going to admit right now, I really like that. So my question, I'm going to pivot a little bit, is related to what we had to go through this year. You and I work in marketing, and depending on the kind of marketing that you do, some marketing companies are flourishing, and some other businesses are going up bust. What have you seen in the world of marketing, or particularly in Cara's world, since we've been on lockdown? Has business gotten better? Have businesses had to pivot how they market to people? What have you noticed as we've been on lockdown?
So I haven't. One of the biggest things that I had to overcome, whenever lockdown started, is I didn't have anything going for myself. So I was at home with kids all day, and I finally just had to say, like, look, something has to change if I want to, I need to be doing something, and I need to feel like I'm plugging in and getting something done. And so it did take some rearrangement of my priorities to make something happen. I started a business in July, this business that I'm working, and pretty quick off the bat had 20 clients sign up for that initial offer. Yeah.
Very
And
cool.
it was really fun and it was cool. I'm not running that offer anymore just because there wasn't a lot of longevity to it. It was very like it was a very quick kind of get your offer polished up kind of offer.
Right.
And
Like a one-off offering, yeah.
yep, send them on. So it took me a second to kind of retool that. But other than that, like, well, I came up with this this client culture offer.
Right.
Really, it was me in my own head, and then getting all these nudges saying like, okay, you have a marketing offer, but you really need to be doing this client culture thing. So from what I'm seeing there, like, the clients that I work with, they're signing on clients. It's almost as if, especially in the internet marketing world, that people are more online, more willing to learn during this time, because there is there just seems to be like a lot of excitement and activity, and it's almost as if like COVID is a separate world for me personally. The kids are back home on quarantine right now, so we're kind of doing like a little bit of backtracking. They were at school for a little while, and so it is taking me back to like earlier this summer, but it's just interesting to see how people are dealing with it. You either let the circumstances rule what is going on in your business, or you can work your way around those circumstances and work solutions out that actually make it to where the circumstances don't matter.
Right. Good deal. I love that. That's kind of attitude right there that I think embodies something that we were talking about earlier today when we were recording your show. Is you could, when COVID hit, you could really just kind of throw your hands up and sit back in your seat and sulk about it, or you can pivot. And the businesses that, I don't want to give general COVID advice here, but the businesses that can pivot pretty fast are the ones that are going to survive all this and in our world, the new normal. So it's interesting that you haven't really seen much of a change. I've noticed in my business that it's actually kind of being a better year than it's been before.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're doing virtual, my people that were doing like big in-person conferences all over the country, these things are all massive Zoom conferences now. And we have to push a ton of online registrations. So I have no complaints with 2020 from a business standpoint so far. From a social standpoint, it's killing me, but from a business standpoint, I don't have any complaints there at all. We as business owners have to sell. And I was, there's a friend of mine, David Newman, who put something online the other day who I thought was kind of cute. He's like, people hate selling because it feels salesy. But let's see, how did he put it? It's like, I'd rather be someone feel salesy than feel brokey. That's how he put it online. I'd rather feel salesy than brokey. So when you're working with a business and you kind of run into somebody who says, I don't want to feel salesy, I don't want to push something down someone's throat, I still want to charge high ticket, but I don't want to be that annoying salesy guy. What would you tell that person that doesn't want to feel salesy but still has to make sales?
Well, so my usual, this is getting a little bit deep, but usually people who don't want to feel salesy, they're worried about how they're making the other person feel uncomfortable or even unsafe. And I think too many people are worried more about the other person's safety and discomfort, and they don't realize that big picture. People need to see you taking risks in a business relationship, kind of sticking your neck out and caring about them. And continually following up, like that's part of, just taking risk in any kind of relationship. And when they see that continually, like even if it's awkward, even if it's, you're trying to find the right words to say, as long as you're authentic, people appreciate that. People start to realize that you taking risks is you being honest, and you and they start trusting the fact that you are putting your neck out.
So would you say, real quick, so would you say that people, it's almost like you have to model, I'm not sure, do you think people will model kind of activities they like to see and they're willing to take more risk if they see somebody else taking a risk kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Absolutely. It's kind of like, you have this picture in your mind, salesy, like someone was obviously not listening to you at some point and tried to push whatever it was. And if you're the type of person who listens, and you're the type of person who doesn't just sell, and like you make sure that that person is qualified, that you can actually serve them, and that your process is good for them, you aren't being salesy. Like you're not pushing something onto someone.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's actually building the relationship. So you're not the person that you think you sound like. You're
Mm-hmm.
actually a person who is caring and going to take care of someone. They just need to see that plenty of times in order for it to make sense.
So would you say that or have you seen examples kind of where people maybe focus too much on the sales and closing the deal rather than the value proposition? Because it sounds a lot like you're talking about the importance of the value proposition, which a lot of people, especially brand new people in business, I think they're really focused on just, eating what you kill, and they're always trying to kill / closing sales. Would you say that it's really important for the value proposition to be really good?
Yeah. Well, so, it's that feeling of like, oh, I don't want to be salesy. Really, there's probably a mismatch where that person isn't ready to accept what you have to offer.
Okay.
And it's because they, like, you go in to close, you go in for the kill, and it's premature. They don't know enough about how you are different, and how, the way that you think is different, and what you have to offer is exactly what suits them. They need more of that information from you.
Okay.
And you need to get permission to give that information to them, and permission to move forward.
Sweet. I like the way you put that, permission.
Yes.
A lot of trust and a lot of permission there.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what someone needs to do or needs to work on if they can't stand selling. Now I'm going to pivot a little bit again on you. When somebody, a lot of people that watch this show are entrepreneurs, or they want to be entrepreneurs. And I was, even myself, I was probably a wannabe entrepreneur for a decade before I actually became one. Someone's going to watch you on this show and watch me and say, oh, what they do is awesome and it's glamorous, and I want to do what they do. I'm sure Cara flies around the country in jets and goes back and forth to coffee shop in limousines, all kinds of stuff. But they have another job, or they have a full-time job right now. What's the kind of advice that you give to someone in a coffee shop when you say, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and I've been doing this for a while and I'm successful, and someone's always said, oh, I want to do what you do. What kind of advice do you give them? Like the first 2 or 3 things that you tell them when they say they want to do what you and I do. They want to go into training. They want to go into the education. So let's focus on the thought leader type of business, or the training type of business that you and I do. What do you say for someone that says, I want to do what you do? I want to teach like you teach.
Sure. So a few different things. For one, to recognize that, okay, if you want to be like Patrick, if you want to be like Cara, that you are going to have a very unique way of presenting the way that you think, and a unique way of even like thinking about the service that you actually end up delivering. it's not going to be like Patrick. It's not going to be like Cara. So even though like things might this lifestyle might appeal to you, which I'm not flying around on jets. I wish that'd be pretty cool. But even if this lifestyle appeals to you, it's going to look very different. And to give yourself more credit than what you think you deserve, because you have a lot of like intuition and judgment about the way things should be. So for instance, you know, we owned a content agency, a web development agency, right. And I was asking Steven if he would ever get into product consulting. So, you know, making sure that the product is really good. And he kind of took him a while to see it, that he could do that, that he wanted to do that. Mm-hmm. And kind of the thing that I was telling him is, okay, you're really good at doing this web development. You do a beautiful work, but there's people that you won't work with because they don't have a good product. And you know immediately from the start why it's not good, why it's not going to work, why you can't deliver on your services because they don't have it together, which means, you know, you have a fuller range of expertise that you're not exercising. And kind of to think that to start there with like your frustrations with the market, the annoyances, the way you put things together is all very unique, and you have a lot of value to offer, and just recognizing that how you offer that value is different than Patrick, is different than Cara.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
And so that's the value side of it. And then on the action side of it, so I've decided that I've watched Cara, I've figured out what my value is, I figured I should not charge cheap. What is maybe the first step they should take marketing wise to express that value or put themselves in the market to get that very first client, would you say?
So I'm big on getting feedback, and even starting to talk to people. So having conversations, even like if you're brand new and you have this new idea, to be able to understand your value and then gift that value to someone is a really cool way to start. Okay. Especially if you are getting feedback along the way, saying like, hey, what's working for you, what's not working for you, because that feedback loop is what's going to give you the information you need in order to market yourself even better. Okay. And understand the actual value that you do provide. So starting a relationship, a client relationship, getting that client relationship, whatever it takes to so that you can start having experience and helping people and seeing, gaining that confidence. The feedback is going to give you a lot of confidence, because people are going to give you tons of praise. Like they'll go on and on about just like how awesome you helped them, and you hear that because you asked for the feedback.
Right.
And so starting those relationships, and then using their feedback to teach about what you do in your marketing. If you can teach about your specific expertise, how it's different than what everyone else is doing, how it's better than what everyone else is doing, the significance of having the outcome that you provide is all going to be really great for just like instilling the belief that people need what you have to offer.
Got it. Love it. So you got feedback is what I'm hearing. Lots of feedback as much as possible.
It's a lot of fun to get feedback from people.
Is it?
It is.
It's it feels awkward sometimes for me, at least, but I suppose the net result is fun. The net result is improvement, and that's what I have to focus on.
It's actually, it feels very risky when it's not, when you're not either not accustomed to it, or you don't. I like to frame people ahead of time, like, hey, I'm gonna get your feedback as often as possible throughout this process. That way they're kind of prepared to give me feedback. And yeah, from the first start, they, they'll tell me like, this was awesome, and I expected a little bit more structure for our entire relationship. I was like, cool, I can give you a doc for that. And it was just an easy like way to, like, they were feeling a little bit like unsettled,
Right.
And I was able to help settle the whole, like, help them feel more grounded about our working relationship.
Got it. Okay, good. It's good to know. People, please write that down when you're taking notes. The importance of feedback. That's something that I've never actually hadn't heard anybody else say, because I think a lot of people, and even me in some cases, think that we've got it figured out from the get-go. Like if I'm going to sell a new product or a new service, that I already know what I want. I don't need anyone's feedback. So it just sounds like I need to basically focus on getting more feedback if I choose to venture into a new area. I'm a big fan of a gentleman named Jay Abraham who works in our world of marketing. He has a phrase that I love called the power of preeminence. It's a 31-minute and 20-second video on YouTube that I would encourage anybody to watch. I know exactly how long it is because I've watched it multiple times. But as part of that, he talks about the importance of not being a commodity. So I was wondering if I could get your perspective on what is a commodity type business, and what do you do to make sure you are not one of them? I wanted your thoughts on that.
I have a lot of thoughts on being a commodity. I'll just go through. So with a commodity product, with a commodity product or service, people have a price exchange for value. So people give you a chunk of change, and then they get the service. With a value service, people give you a chunk of change for access to the value, but not for the value itself. So you can actually offset the value. And I say that because whenever you give someone value, it actually ends up being a new exchange. So they get access to the value through this price. And whenever you are giving the value of it, they are continually giving back in a different way, whether that is testimonials or some kind of other feedback, buying more of your products and services. If you are going to create an ongoing relationship with someone, instead of having that commodity product service, you want to offset the value and have people continually wanting more of the depth of knowledge that you have, the depth of service that you provide. That's kind of on the delivery side.
Right.
Okay, so with a commodity, when people, I'm like leaning forward to like getting into this. You can tell I'm
good. That means I picked a good question there.
When people buy a commodity, whenever they think about a commodity service, usually if someone's going to buy a commodity, they do not prioritize the thing that they want. As an example, so instead of buying a holistic package or a coaching package or even like an ongoing marketing retainer, they're going to solve their problem in a different way. Okay. And it's going to be a commodity type thing because they don't prioritize or they don't understand the depth of a problem they have. So they aren't indoctrinated enough. They don't fully know what they actually need in order to get the full transformation that they maybe subconsciously want. And my biggest example that I love to use is I worked with a sleep coach on creating like a lot of value and explaining what his expertise was. And sleep, like people aren't going to pay for a sleep coach just to get an extra hour of sleep. They're going to say like, hey, I can be more productive during the day, or, right. And make my time up, or, sleep. I'm already I already have so many few hours. I don't want to spend an extra hour on sleep itself. Like, why sleep? And if they do want to improve their sleep, they're going to buy an Oura ring, or they're going to buy, some kind of really good pillow to improve their sleep. Right. If you're going to make sleep a priority enough to spend high ticket on a coach, so $3,000, $8,000 on this package, the coach has to explain like the difference of sleep that they're going to get. And so that's what we did. We named a quality of sleep that actually gives you more energy. So you would think you need less energy to sleep. In reality, you actually need more energy to have a fully deep sleep and to let your brain have the creative activity that it needs when you're sleeping, so that during the day, these ideas just flow through you and the work that you need to get done gets done. It actually affects your business performance a lot if you don't have this quality of sleep. And so that's what we named. That's what he was able to teach about, and that's kind of his whole sleep package was about this quality of sleep that people don't have access to. And so instead of the Oura Ring, we positioned it different as more it was a different thing that they don't have anymore. They don't have that access.
Got it. So would you say another way of putting that would be the difference between kind of a holistic solution versus just like a Band-Aid? I mean, like a pillow or like a ring is like a Band-Aid, or just getting extra hours sleep is a Band-Aid, but that doesn't solve the bigger problem.
Totally. Yep. And for lack of a better word, people need to wake up to the bigger problem. I really did enjoy that. Yeah. Thank
well
you.
done.
They need to wake up to that bigger problem, and they're likely either numb that they're dealing with this, or just not it's not a priority. So
got it. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, the difference between priority management and time management. Good stuff there. Okay. I'm going to skip down to one more question, because this is one I get asked every now and then. I think my audience would like hearing your opinion on this, and your opinion may be everything or none of those, Patrick, and your opinion could even be, Patrick, you're asking the wrong question. I'm totally open to that. These days, you and I deal with people who think that a particular marketing tactic is the better marketing tactic. It's Monday, I got to be doing TikToks, and Tuesday, I've got to be doing Facebook Messenger bots, and then, people get highly distracted. So I'm kind of curious for you and for the people that you work with, when it comes to all the marketing tactics out there, there's Facebook Messenger, there's Facebook ads, there's YouTube ads. Have you found out that with the kind of audience that you're serving, that there is a better tactic or a better communication method when it comes to reaching people? That was my question right there, is what do you prefer, number one, I guess, and what do you find works better for the kind of clients that you work with?
I prefer Facebook, because that's where my network is, and that's where I'm comfortable putting out content. But as far as tactics and all that other stuff goes, I think some people chase the shiny object or the allure of the next thing, as if the current thing isn't working out for them. Mm-hmm. And it's my belief that any of it's going to work. You just need to learn the rules and understand how to play the game. And I'm sure that there are better places for some different audiences. Like LinkedIn, you're going to get a different style person, but really if your content matches the platform, so LinkedIn is a little bit more buttoned up. If your content matches the platform, really there's still the same amount of people there. Your tactics just change to match. It's my opinion that you have to do what's best for you, and usually what's best for you is to narrow your focus first and figure out, if you're a one-man show, making your most productive place being in one place. Mm-hmm. And then once you start expanding, just to have control over your yeses and your nos. So yes, this is mine. I don't have to be on all the platforms. I know I got there it took me a while to get there.
It's okay.
But you don't have to be on all the platforms. We can focus in on one. or like whenever, like I don't have to focus on one. I need to be in more places, and I'm okay doing Instagram for this one cool strategy, which I did hear a cool strategy recently. And I plan on taking that up. Like it's just like to say yes whenever you need to say yes, and to say no whenever you need to say no. If it's too much for you, narrow in. If it's not enough for you, let's like open it up.
Got it. So it's better. I think, and I kind of heard you hint at this though. It sounds like it's really better to go maybe deep into one tactic and get probably really good at that one rather than trying to spread yourself out maybe a little bit too thin.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. I
But
just wanted to
also
make
to
sure
not be
because
locked in if you don't want to be locked in.
got it. Got it. Okay. Because I do get that question myself. And I'm just kind of curious how you deal with it with your clients. And it sounds like you yourself prefer, like, it sounds like Facebook and maybe Facebook Messenger, but you aren't totally, you don't totally force that on the people that you work with. It sounds like you just have to go where you have to go to.
That's right. Yeah. Nope.
Got it.
I know.
Okay. Cool. And you asked a really good question when you were interviewing me, and it wasn't on my list, but I want to ask you this as we wrap up here. As we kind of part and do wrap up here, what single piece of advice, and I'm actually going to take this a little bit route. What do you see people doing, prospects that want to retain you? What is something that you see them doing that is kind of a common mistake or a common misnomer or a common belief that you have to help them get past or condition them out of so they can work with you and keep making progress? So rather than what piece of advice do you have for people, I'm kind of curious, what is a common mistake you see in your market that you've battled more than once?
I'm glad you actually switched up the question, because I probably would have been like, what? On the other one. So the thing that I battle the most is there's this belief that you have to use pain, shame, judgment in your marketing. So saying, you got to stop doing this, and like going really hard on just like, this is what you're causing in your business. And the language is very like harsh, and it's very like polarizing is a common word that people use to kind of get away with like just a whole lot of judgment and anger. It feels like anger to me. And people also carry this over into their sales conversation, where they're, asking very painful questions about, what, how does this affect your family? And how does this, how does this end up in, they're asking a lot of questions that just aren't actually relevant to the working relationship. And they bring this over into their client relationships too, where they give slaps on the hand. And this is very common in the coaching industry on internet marketing. And you see, like, you look like, you're like, what in the world are you talking about? But it's true. It's like everywhere. People use a lot of like, hey, you're not doing the work. You're not doing the process that, you're not following instructions, or you're not doing this. Lots of slaps on the hands. And I would say none of that is necessary, nor is it beneficial in your marketing, in your sales calls, in your client relationships. It's something that you can lead people without it. I love fear as a conversation, because everyone has like things that they want to avoid business wise. So I'm okay like talking about fears, like things that we want to avoid, concerns that we have, but I don't want to, I always want to validate people where they're at. So in my marketing, on the sales call, in my client relationships, people work hard. It's a hard year. It's frustrating. Like, I want to validate and say, like, you've worked a lot. You've worked hard where you're at. You spend a lot of time here. It makes sense that you believe that you're supposed to be doing this. If you're the type who uses shame and judgment, it makes sense, because this is what everyone's teaching right now. Like, you're doing a really good job. Here's what needs to be done different so that you can get the result you want. Really simple conversation when it comes to like validation. Let's talk about your concerns. Let's talk about the result you want. And then like, let's work together.
But not as many or almost no hand slaps.
I don't like hand slaps, no.
Got
And
it.
I prefer to lead with the validation and then shift to a better way of thinking, is how I like to say it.
Got it. Got it. Okay. I'm going to save some of my other questions for a different podcast. But I know as a result of watching this, there are going to be some people that are going to want to watch your other shows and learn more about some of the stuff we talked about, especially when it comes to the energized client culture and the insurance. So if I'm watching this and or somebody else is watching this and they're like, how do I find this lady? How do I reach out to her? What's her social media? Where can I watch her videos? How does someone track you down online?
So I am on Facebook, and that is primarily where I'm at now. I hang out there quite a bit. So for the high ticket insurance show, it's facebook.com/high ticket insurance show, just all one word, no quotations in that handle, high
Okay.
ticket insurance show. And then for my personal profile, that's where I have the most of my conversations. That is facebook.com/Cara Bell OKC, CARABELL OKC. So
Got it. Okay. So
yeah,
either the personal profile, if they want to like message you and possibly retain your services, or to watch the social media stuff you published, that could be personal all over at the high ticket insurance show. Now, is that a Facebook group or is it a fan page?
it is a fan page. Yep.
Sweet. Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I really do appreciate your time, and you were not you were on my list of people to talk to. Unfortunately, we had another way that we ended up connecting, and I want people to go over and watch the interview that she did of me, which was a little bit earlier today. And you have regular interviews on there. How often are you doing those? I saw a couple a little bit earlier. Is that like once a week?
I'm doing 2 a week right now,
Two a week?
and
Okay.
and I intend to do some solo episodes. I so that maybe 3 a week.
Three a week eventually. Okay. Got it. Well, again, thank you very much for participating. It's been a long time coming, and we'll have to get out for some sushi at some point in time again.
Oh,
Except for I've been to our sushi place, and you can't even walk indoors now. You have to sit in your car, and they come out with a little pencil on a piece of paper, and they take your order. You can't even go inside just because we're all being really healthy. Um, for my viewers, thank you once again for watching. You know how to find us on social media and on the email list and on the website. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube and you give us a review on the podcast on iTunes. And until next time, Cara, it's been a pleasure talking with you. Everyone, please go follow her online and learn from her, because I can tell you in some of the soft skills, or most of the soft skills, she's much better than anything I talk about. I'm a very technical, binary, black and white person, and she's got these soft skills unlocked. So thank you very much for your time today, Cara.
yes, thank you.